We're ready to boot into CentOS 7 now. In VirtualBox, we do that by double-clicking on the name of our virtual machine here. You can see that we have a prompt here to please select a virtual optical disk file or a physical optical drive containing a disk to start your new virtual machine from. Now, what we're going to do in this case is we're going to browse to our ISO image file. That's what we want to boot into. So we're going to boot that up by selecting it and hitting Start. Now you can see here that the virtual machine has started. And again, whether you are following along here in VirtualBox or you're installing on a traditional piece of computer equipment, this is the screen that you will see next. We want to install CentOS 7. That's what we're going to do now. So we'll hit Enter on the Install CentOS 7 option. So here we are now booted into the CentOS 7 installer, and you can see, because I'm in a virtual machine, that we have some scroll bars here, and we can enter scaling mode by using right control and C by default. By default, right control and C will enter VirtualBox into scaling mode. Now be aware that when you're in scaling mode, some things can act a little funny. So just be aware of that. Sometimes when you are clicking on something, it won't quite register when you are in scaling mode. Obviously, I want to select English here, and then I will select Continue. And now we need to basically set all of our options prior to the install. So we'll start here at the top with date and time. I will select where I am located, or the time zone where I am located. I am in Chicago time, not actually in Chicago, but I'm in Chicago time. And then select Done. Keyboard English US, that's fine. I don't need to change that. I don't need to change language support. The installation source is local media because we've already specified our ISO image file. The software selection. Now, this is where CentOS really excels, because it enables you to install kind of preset software packages, depending upon what you're trying to do. So you can see here you have a minimal installation, compute node, infrastructure server, file and print server, basic web server, virtualization host, server with GUI, GNOME desktop, KDE Plasma workspaces, or development and creative workstation. Now, what we want to do is a server, and what I'm going to do is a basic web server. Okay? So you could also do your file and print server, you could do a basic web server, and when you select that option, you then have add-ons, so you can further customize these presets. It's really very cool, and one of the reasons I love CentOS. Now, I don't need a backup client, debugging tools, directory clients would be good to have, guest agents, don't need to use that. Hardware monitoring utilities, yes please. Java, yes please. We're going to go ahead and do that just so we have Java on there. Performance support tools for large systems won't be necessary. Load balancing, not necessary. And let's see, I have to, see, this is what I was telling you about CentOS 7. I have to move out of scaling mode because the mouse is acting very strangely because we do not have the advanced support right now with VirtualBox. We don't have proper mouse integration. Moving on with the installation here, you can select whatever you would like to. I'm going to select PHP support. If you're following along, just select the packages that I am. Network file system client would be good. Performance tools, Perl for web. I don't need that. Python would be good. Remote management, sure, why not? Web servlet engine. Yes, we want to do that for Java. Compatibility libraries, we should not need that. Development tools, we want the basics. Security tools, absolutely. And smart card support, don't need it. So for those of you who are following along, I selected basic web server, and then I added on a few packages here. I added on directory client, hardware monitoring utilities, Java platform, network file system, PHP, performance tools, Perl for web, Python, remote management, web servlet, development tools, and security tools. Those are the add-ons that I selected. You can do the same if you're following along, and we'll now select Done. I'm going to move back into scaling mode, see how that works for a while. And now we can click on Installation Destination. Now this is going to be our VirtualBox hard drive. If you're installing on a physical computer, obviously you want to specify the hard drive and the partition that you want CentOS 7 installed on. So we've already got that set there with our VirtualBox hard disk. KDump, leave it alone, network and host name. Now, CentOS 7 can be a little tricky in VirtualBox to get working properly. But the best way to do it that I've found is to bridge your connection. And so in doing that, let's go ahead and click this X button here. And we want to save the machine state. That's like pausing it. And then we will make sure that CentOS 7 is highlighted. Click on Settings. And then go to Network. And then Bridged Adapter. So we're going to do that and hit OK. And then we're going to power the machine back up here. Okay. And now you can see that it's changed to unavailable and disconnected. We turn it on and it is now connected. And we should have a network connection now. Let's hit Done. It says wired and connected. That is good. At this point, we are ready to begin our installation. Again, scaling mode giving me difficulties. That is just in VirtualBox. You will not have to worry about that if you're installing on physical hardware. So let's go ahead now and begin this installation. And while the installation is going, we can set our root password and we can also create a user. Let's go ahead and do that now. Set your root password and make sure that it is secure. Make sure you pick a strong password there. And we'll go ahead and create a user. I want my username to be Cody. I do want to be an administrator. And I do want to give myself a password. Now you have some advanced options here related to the home directory and other such things. Membership. What groups should this user be a member of? We don't need to change anything there right now. So save the changes and then we can select Done and our installation will complete. Once the installation is done, we'll boot up into our new CentOS 7 server and get started moving around in the shell. Now that our installation is complete, all we have to do is reboot to finalize the installation and boot into CentOS 7.